Zion! Hear me! The machines are digging! But Morpheus, I need him to dig those stumps. Gosh. Welcome to episode number 4. I rented the TORO stump grinder for this purpose and to dig holes for the horse hitch post base. I cut the post to fit in the center of the porch columns. It can be of any length. Then I mark its location. I use some sticks to mark the location of the posts. That's where I will be digging. I need to dig at least 32 inches. This depth is below freezing line in my area. It varies from place to place. I dig below the freezing line so the base will be solid and will not move throughout the years. Otherwise, after this hard work, one side will be higher than the other or even collapse. I say, do it once and just do it once. It's worth mentioning that before digging, I called Julie. It's a free service that makes sure I won't hit any electrical, gas, or cable lines while digging.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. What are you doing? You're on speed, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I double check, and if it's not 32 inches, I dig some more. Now I'm ready for the concrete. If you do it on your own, read the instructions on the back. It will not only have the amount of required water to be added, but also the temperature required for the mix to set. For this kind of work, I like this consistency. It is possible to add more water or concrete at this stage. Then I simply pour it into the hole and use a shovel to break air pockets between pores. When done, and as soon as possible, I wash the tools from concrete. This thing is called a perforated or corrugated pipe. It goes underground and allows water to run through it. The white net around it is used to block mud that can block its holes. I connect one end of it to the gutter and another to a pop-up drainage emitter. But before connecting, I dug a trench. I used what I had, even though it's not the right tool for this job, but a shovel was not an option due to the many roots under the ground. I will mention this again because it's important, and I recommend you do the same. Before digging, call Julie. I will release a detailed video about how I connected the perforated pipe to the pop-up and the gutter in the next episode. Now that I have the post's base filled with concrete and the perforated pipe underground, I'm measuring and cutting the vapor barrier. This one is from Crawl Space Repair. See details in the description under this video. I'm leveling the ground as preparation for the 4x4 lumber I will be placing around the horse hitch posts. It doesn't have to be perfect. Next to the house, I'm creating a slope away from the house for rainwater or any kind of water to run away from the house base. If you ask yourself why I need this slope, cause I don't want water inside my crawling space. I found that I have to hold the landscape pins in a certain way, otherwise they fail to go through and bend. This happens more often when I have to go through two vapor barrier layers in the overlapping sections. I'm showing that I keep the vapor barrier at the same height. I need to expose the concrete before drilling holes in it. There are two ways to do it. The man cave approach, which is to make a big round circle around it, or the one where I surgically cut two lines horizontally and vertically, and then bend the created triangles inside. I tried and failed using those wedge anchors. Then bought longer ones and drilled some more. There has to be a better way to do it. I almost forgot about this product. It's an expensive piece of shit. The only thing this product hardens is the plastic head tube, while inside the concrete hole, around the wedge anchor, where it's supposed to harden, it fails. Luckily, Lowe's accepted it back. Now I'm fixing the men's cave approach. Since I didn't care when pouring the concrete if things are level, I have to level the post now. I use the level app to show how many degrees to cut using my miter saw. At this point, after the hard work, I don't understand why there is so much movement. I end up removing the entire thing using longer wedge anchors, and honestly the final result was better but not perfect. There has to be a better way. And no, driving the posts underground while pouring the concrete is not an option. I like to have access to wood. What if it will rot in 15 years? I want to have the luxury of easy replacement. Making sure that the posts are the same height by running a wire and a small dedicated level, then marking the X's and cutting. Earlier, I cut the posts with different angle for them to be leveled. I mark them so I won't get confused. I paint the areas which will soon be out of my reach. For the upper part to stay in place, I use leg screws. I first pre-drill and countersink. We bought some old whiskey barrel for the overall farm-style house. I drill holes on the bottom for water to escape. The paint that I'm using is the same as I used for the siding, semi-transparent coffee by Behr. I planted few plants in this area and I'm about to share the process involved in it with you. So unlike the caveman approach, I surgically cut a hole in the vapor barrier, then dig a hole, deep enough for the plant to fit in, and then adding some potting soil and water around it. I gently extract the plant from the nursery pot by gently squeezing it from all sides until the plant just slides out. This potting soil can be found at Menards. I push the soil firmly and tightly around the plant, but gently, not with brutal force. Then I add water all around it and let the soil settle. Once settled, I repeat the process. Finally, I unfold the vapor barrier and cut the excess. To figure out the angle, I use a square and a pencil. In my case, it was simple 45 degrees. With this side turned up, I will have to cut the other piece in 45 degrees as well, while turning it upside down will not require it, but will create another problem where the width of the two pieces will not match. Where to cut the other piece? If I will mark a continuous line, I will find myself in a situation where I cut too much, and I will show it in a minute. The right way to do it is run another straight line and copy the angle from the previous continuous line to it. You can see that if I would have cut in a continuous line, I would have cut too much. How much? That much. Now some long landscaping nails and a bigger hammer. Unlike my previous landscaping project, this helped a lot, and now all I need is bigger hands. Since wood is not always straight, like in this example, I first connect the sides and only then the center. Finally, I add a missing piece, paint what needs to be painted, and adding mulch. Dear Diary, in my previous landscaping project, the landscaping nails I've purchased at Menards rusted on the second day. The same happened now, while the ones from Lowe's, those having the number 22 on them and missing the rust, haven't. Time taken, around 7 days. Cost for materials, around 1100, including the TORO rental, which was around 300. Cost for materials and tools, around 2 grand. Thanks for watching!